We have a number of issues to unpack on the show today. So we're going to go straight into it. Let me say good morning to Lamtega Panga. He's a deputy CEO of the Gaming Commissioner Ghana. I like to call him deputy commissioner.
Deputy commissioner.
Yeah, that's the official.
But I'm acting, so
acting.
Let me remind you.
Well, acting deputy commissioner for the Gaming Commission of Ghana. And Dennis Miracles Abuaje is here. He has decided to run away from us for some time now. But we can pardon him. He's been a busy man over the period. He's aide to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, so you can understand he's been up and running, touring the country, canvassing votes for his flag bearer aspirant. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to have you. It's good to have you. Dennis, I'll start off with you because we're hitting home right away. NPP presidential primary set for January 31, this coming Saturday. Over 200,000 delegates to cast their ballots in all 276 constituencies across the country. 5 aspirants vying for that position to lead the party going into the 2028 contest. Who will it be? Will it be Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia? Will it be Kennedy Ohene Ejapon? Will it be Dr. Brian Echampong? Will it be Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, Kwabna Eje Ejapon? Who will it be? We'll find out on Saturday, January 31. But Dennis, how has it been so far? Preparations and all. Are we ready for Saturday?
Yes, I think we are. I mean, after days and weeks of moving across the country, we're barely 72 hours, I believe, to the election.
You like doing countdown?
Yeah, makes it easy. Those times when you don't do the countdown, you realize it's very far.
Yeah, it helps you to
And
manage.
I like to say it in hours. Because, you know. So yesterday, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia concluded his nationwide tour.
Okay.
You know, so the last constituency was Minsha North. And so now he's basically engaged all the delegates across the country. The turnout at his meetings were about 97% of people actually showing up.
Right.
The delegates showing up to come and hear and listen. It's been a very interesting campaign. He's stuck to the issues. He's been very focused on the critical things that matter to the NPP delegate, i.e. the fact that we are going into a contest to elect first somebody that can compete and win against the NDC in 2028, and then 2, somebody that can, after winning, be able to steer the affairs of the country and make the party proud and lead this country to another level. So the 2 are linked together. You can't have one and not have the other.
Indeed.
You know, so that makes it quite a straightforward decision for him. You may win primaries, and if you can't lead the country, it will be counterproductive to the party. You may also be very able to run the country, but you need to win the primaries. You need to win the elections. You know, first against the NDC. So these 2 things are basically what. And to the delegates, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been very clear with this message to them. I am the guy that would be able to unite our party going into the future. I am the guy that understands the ropes of this journey. I have been there before. I've seen it before. Yes, the first time we couldn't make it, but that even positions me in a more advantageous position than the others, because then when we enter the campaign room for 2028, I know the pitfalls to avoid. I know the holes to dodge. I know the roads to use based on the previous experience. And history also favors him. I mean, in Ghana, there's no doubt that from 1992 to now, there's a trend. Consistency in candidature is crucial. There has never been a time where somebody has attempted the presidency for the first time and won. Unless the person is a certain president. And that tells you that the social mindset, the electoral psychology of the people is quite clear. They need time to be able to absorb what it is that you're saying. And the evidence is that anytime a new candidate runs against a candidate that is coming for a repeat period, that repeat candidate is likely to win. So it's almost as if when you lose the previous elections, it positions you even better for the next elections. And the critical attributes that the people of this country look out for in a president is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia far possesses ahead of the other
What are these attributes?
Oh, I mean, you know, respect for humanity is extremely important. You governance is about people. So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia clearly is one person that is without doubt accepted widely by the Ghanaian people in terms of the critical social virtues that humility, his respect for people, his demeanor, his composure. You know, you're going to lead millions of people.
Dr. Duchim can claim same.
Well, so all of them, but he has more. I mean, if you should map it on a graph, he's ahead.
Very well.
He's ahead in some of these things, and he's also communicated clear-cut policies for the delegates and for the country. For the country, everybody is quite clear and aware that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is way ahead of his time. His visionary, his thought process in terms of where he wants to position Ghana is without doubt, you know, ahead. And then for the party people, he is also clearly outlined what his plans are to ensure that we win together as a party and we run the affairs of the country as a party. And those are not things for you, because you're not a party.
For the delegates.
Yeah, you're not a party member. And so the party people have really embraced him, and the fact that he's stuck to the issues and giving them reasons why it should be him is crucial. We are hoping that Thursday would go smoothly, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't go smoothly.
Saturday, you mean?
Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why it shouldn't go smoothly. I mean, Nana, it's first of all a delegate conference, and you are very familiar with the way the delegates conference run.
Yeah.
When you enter the venue, it is all NPP people in the constituency who know themselves.
Yes.
Some of them have been doing this thing since 1992. Okay, and they know themselves. So the electoral area coordinator comes to the venue with his polling station executives. The polling station chairman is there with his other 4 executives. And the way they even sit, you realize that Methodist Primary A executives, they are all here.
Yeah.
You know, so it's extremely difficult for an outsider to disrupt that process. And I always tell people, you can be 100 macho men, but you cannot overcome 500 people who know themselves. And so people just have to be extremely mindful and careful. And it's just a ballot. We are putting.
Are you picking any signals that there will be?
Oh, I mean, is an African elections. There's something that my.
But this is a family matter.
Yeah, but it's an African elections. You know, I remember one senior man once told me that in an African elections, you should have a 360 preparation. that is what
Anything
it is. Oh yeah, it's an African election, and in African elections, you need to have, because again, our democracy is still burdened. Trust me, a lot of people are still even accepting the fact that when we vote, just accept and let's move on. You know, it's even happening across countries where people still don't understand that it was a vote, we've counted, you've lost, accept. So we need to shepherd everybody till we get there. So I mean, the caution is that it's a family affair, like you said, and people will be there to protect the space. It's not just the police or the electoral commission, all of us, and we know ourselves. We know ourselves. I mean, if you take me to my constituency, I can point out every police station executive, all of them,
so that we can trust the police and the EC to do a good job.
No, I am 100% convinced.
It's
that
the party sending its own security.
No. It's the Ghana Police and Electoral Commission. Right. We don't need our own security for anything. It's a simple process, and believe me, by 10 a.m. some constituencies will be done.
Finished.
Yes. By 10 a.m. some constituencies will finish, because you see the way we come on the day, because we are coming. So some are coming in buses. Some are coming in buses from the hinterlands, from their communities, electoral area based, community based, and they come. So
who's sponsoring these buses?
Oh no, the party is actually providing the resources for these things. So some are coming in buses. Of course, when you come in, you move me from my village to come and vote. I shouldn't use my own money. So the party is making arrangements for all of these things. And when they arrive, by 7:30, trust me, some of the places are full.
Yeah.
They are full. And they start voting, they queue. And in some places, based on the venue and how it looks, you realize that the electoral commission will be having the album and mentioning the names. Dennis Miracles Abuaji. Then, so what they will say is that don't pass electoral area. Then they will all queue.
Right.
Then they will mention Dennis Miracles Abuaji, chairman. Then you see him coming to vote. So it's a very open, transparent, process that I don't think there should be an issue.
The chairman of the presidential committee, Joseph Osei, yesterday mentioned that Ghana card will be accepted even if you don't have the party card on your person.
Yeah, I mean a national photo ID. A national, you don't need a party card to vote. You need, you see, the primary source document is a register, and the register has my name and my picture. So what the electoral commission needs is something that shows that
I'm the one.
The person in the album is you. So that's all. So
This
you can come with your
spark any
passport.
controversy,
No, that's how we've been voting. In fact, in other areas, unless there's some extreme controversy, if I show up, you look at my
Once your
picture.
picture is on the register and you have signed
It's
all
good to
that,
verify. Yes, and don't forget that there is a police station chairman, secretary, women organizer, and youth organizer.
Yeah.
even constituency executives.
Executive, they are all
Like you said, they know themselves.
Regional executives.
Yeah.
So it's a very simple process, so it's not complex at all, unless somebody really just wants to cause unnecessary. But you know, when people are losing, they can do a lot of things.
I'll come back to you because this is your election. But council, from where you sit, what do you anticipate, or what do you see happening on Saturday? And I'll also digress a little bit because there's actually a suit now challenging the delegate system. So just quick thoughts on what you see happening, and then touch briefly on this suit for me.
Very well. Good morning to you, and good morning to my brother Miracle. I think that this is just part of the democratic system to ensure fairness in selection of who should lead a political party. Under normal circumstance, this should not lead to any unnecessary tension and all that. But unfortunately, I must say that largely it has not produced the soundbite and the outcome that we would want. You would expect that some policy ideas, some leadership ideas, some challenging thoughts would have been the main driving force between the candidates at this stage. But unfortunately, we've had wholesale of insults, people throwing attacks at each other, character assassination. I mean, yes, you may find that some candidates haven't themselves spoken, but they've had their followers doing it with that condemnation. And you know, when you don't condemn, that's a subtle endorsement, and it's rather unfortunate to see some of these things happen. I mean, you can single out a particular candidate and say, oh, this candidate has carried himself out quite well, creditably, and has not dwelled in any of those things. But he has failed to point out some of the conduct of his followers and say, listen, I will not entertain this. And that is what would mark a distinguished leader that, oh, this leader is different and distinct from the rest. But you haven't had any unique, in fact, you tell yourself and ask around, what so far is a message from the individual camps? Apart from the fact that some will tell you that, oh, others went and failed, and if I'm given the chance, I'll do better. Apart from that, it's just been accusations upon accusations from the candidates across, and it's not the best. I mean, we know for sure that the NPP is the alternative for this country, but we would want an alternative that is competent, an alternative that would stand the test of time, and not an alternative that will tell us that, as we say in Akana, so if you're not, I mean, you see the signs that tells you that we will not have anything different from what we are seeing, because this is likely what you're going to carry into the national elections when given the opportunity. And so you want to see some level of quality leadership debate that produces ideas, challenging ideas, policy ideas that would propel this country to the next level.
At this point, they are campaigning to delegates, so the messaging might not be necessarily for, if like, the entire country.
But the country matters because the delegates are part of the country. And to a large extent, the delegates also need to know, what are you going to do differently? You may be a winnable candidate, but what are you bringing on the table to make you a winnable candidate? It also matters that the rest of us who are not even candidates, are not delegates, are interested in knowing. In some circumstance, people within the community also influence the delegate. And so it is important that as you target the delegate to convince them that I am a better candidate, you must equally let the rest of us carry the rest of us along to appreciate what you are doing.
True, because the campaigning has been constituency based, and I doubt all that number of people we see at the various campaign grounds are all delegates.
No, some are party followers, some are, and then largely the rest of us follow on the media, what is going on in the media and all that. And you would expect that the entire exercise would have been so peaceful because, as he said, it's a family affair. But you can't imagine a family affair is producing an outcome where parties are called on to come and sign a peace pact. And look at the body language at that ceremony. It tells you that a ceremony that where you expect there will be some reconciliation, some friendship exchanges, some camaraderie among the parties, you rather find the body language not one of the best. And then the worst part of it is that you finish and you expect that the outcome of that would be more positive. You have people throwing back and saying that I was the one who held the two forces, number one and number three, together at bay, otherwise it wouldn't have been good. And then the other person goes to say that, oh, even the other guy who holds a PhD did not pay attention to the document and sign. But what is more important is that that particular exercise, apart from just being cosmetic, it has no legal binding enforceable mechanism. I mean, you can't hold any of them to any legal mechanism to say you're going to enforce that,
despite the appending their signature.
It is merely a commitment of words. So at worst,
there's party structures or party constitution that can be used to sanction, but then
yes, and that is where if you think that anybody has gone against the party rules and party regulations, but you can't hold them against anything there, because this is a mere commitment of what they would wish to do. We are in a democratic environment. If somebody decides that tomorrow he's not going to go by what has been agreed upon, he's a man of his own. I mean, we've seen it happen. Either he goes out to form his own party or decide that he won't campaign for the party. Whatever he decides to do is individual. So you would expect that a party of the NPP would not have necessarily lead to a point where we would need a peace pact to be able to enhance peace in the party. I mean, naturally, if the party claims to be peaceful and all that, we know that for sure that when you have some of these contests, when it is so tense, there will be some exchanges here and there, but not what we have seen in the last
internal contests are even more dangerous than the national ones.
Absolutely, we appreciate that because, of course, internally you know yourselves and you hold each other's secrets and certain vital information that you can use against each other. But we would not expect some of these outcomes.
From where you sit and based on your observation, what's the level of acrimony you see, and how much of a difficult task will it put on whoever emerges winner on Saturday in uniting the party for the battle ahead?
You may have to look at it from two perspectives. One, the willingness of the other party to sit at table and reconcile.
Right.
And not just sit at table, but carry on with actions that shows genuine reconciliation. And how you overturn some of the words you have used against each other.
Indeed.
Because those words are your own words. You must be held by your words. A man must be, who he is. And so if tomorrow you say all these things and you come back and shake hands and then you come and stand on the stage and say that, oh, the rest of Ghanaians should vote this person to this person. Don't forget that you are the same person who told us that this person is not a good candidate because of A, B, C. In fact, some of the words I can't even repeat on air. Of course, some of us, our upbringing will not allow us to say those things.
We saw same happen 2023, 2024.
Yes. Yes, but it showed in the election.
It showed in the results of the election.
I mean, as some people say, that it actually showed a 38%.
EC says 41.
Well, let's give it 41. Let's leave it 41. Let's leave it 41. But nonetheless, any of the candidates who the NPP elect, I can tell you for sure that will not be able to beat the NDC candidates.
You don't have a candidate yet.
Don't worry.
You are here to do your own primary.
We will go through it.
Irrespective of who you select.
Don't forget that the party does not dwell, the success of the party does not dwell on only the candidate's attributes. The performance of his party or his government. If the Nanado's administration had performed very well, it would have given Bawumia a good opportunity to sell himself. But it was difficult and reflected even in the parliamentary elections. I mean, where a government's performance is so poor, it naturally reflects in the ability to convince voters to give you an opportunity again.
The election is usually a referendum on the performance of the government.
Absolutely. And that's what we've seen. And so we are hopeful with what we have started, and I said earlier, what we have started, and we're able to sustain this and carry on to the next 2-3 years, it will tell you that whoever we bring out as our candidate would have a good opportunity to tell Ghanaians that, look at what my team has done, and when given the opportunity, I'll do better.
Dennis, how much of a leadership challenge exists after January 31? Because at this point, there should be unity going forward.
Before I come to that, I don't know why the NDC, they just can't mind their business. I just don't understand.
It's our business.
Your business is their business. Are you not interested in the performance of the government?
I am, but you see,
Exactly.
there's a big difference between the government and the party.
And the party.
The party, right now we are talking party level. When we get to government level, we'll discuss it. You see, the NDC, I don't know, but there seems to be under some delusion. Like there are some superpower political party and there are some extraordinary party. Listen, the NDC just got out of a contest where at the last minute, barely 24 hours, Dufo and pulled out. There were a lot of people we know that would have been completely sidelined. Yabuatin, Jan and Co, where are they? All of them have been sidelined. So it's not as if it's all rosy there. And let's also be fair. John Mahama, His Excellency, has completely been controlling this party since 2012. 2012. That's 2012. Oh, from the time Mr. Mills passed.
After Mills.
2012, 2016 elections, 2020 elections, 2024, 4 elections, 1 man. You understand?
They went into primaries.
Oh, come on. We know what happened.
We have competitive elections to choose our flag bearer.
Did you let me? I didn't ask you to venture into my space.
You brought me in.
No, you venture into my space.
All right, let's carry on.
So we know what has happened. The real test of the NDC is what is yet to come. The real test. So they should calm down.
They're up for it.
In any case, this country, we've seen 9 elections. The first election in this country, 1992, in this 4th Republic, they won it. When basically there was opaque boxes, almost a no contest. 1992, 9 elections. Out of the 9, we have won 4. You have won 5. So you are no superpower than us.
Oh, but when you put 4 and 5,
I made a very fundamental point before I came. I said it is because they won the first one.
Right.
It's because you won the first one. In the last 12 years, we have won 2 elections. We won 1. In the last 12 years.
The last 12.
Yes.
In the last 12.
That's true.
We won 2, you won 1. In the last 16 years, you won 2, we won 2. So you are not special. That is what the fact says. You are not special. Listen, everything you are saying now, we said same when we won election in 2017. As of 2020, people in this country were tweeting that NDC go. This whole thing, like we are on track, and if we continue, listen, Nana Akufo-Addo in 2020, 4 years after his elections, he was even putting him on his status on Sunday nights. When Akufo-Addo's rating in 2017, at the end of 2017, by the international rating agency, was 80%. Akufo-Addo in the first 12 months implemented major flagship projects. They mention one flagship program they've implemented in their first year. So there is nothing extraordinary about a party's first year goodwill. We've all seen it. It's normal. The real test is how you can sustain it, especially now. Now that only you and I around this table, those who go to the fuel station to buy fuel are benefiting from everything you're talking about. The masses, 75% of the people in Accra this morning are using public transport. They have no benefit of the so-called gains you are talking about. It doesn't reflect in their lives. Indeed, the only memory of what these 75% in Accra have of you, your government, is high cost of living, high electricity, high water. That has affected everything. There are children who are in University of Ghana. They are paying almost ×2 the fees they paid in 2024. You know what I'm saying? There are 6,200 hostel fees. Yes, hostel fees. Academic hostel fee is worse.
But isn't that what G-Check asked them to?
Yeah. No, that is not it. I'm telling you what they paid this term. They're already in school. In 2024, they were paying 1,006. Now they are paying 2,360. University of Ghana. Hostel. Ivandi hostel. It was 6,200. Now they are paying 7,800. Me, my niece, her name is Beyonce Esi Abuaje.
Beyonce?
Yeah, she's in tech right now. Yeah, she looks like Beyonce, very pretty. She's in KLUST now. I paid fees and I paid a hostel of an amount of 6,300. Those are the people you should be worried about, because they are not going to be patient with you for too long. The teachers and nurses that work for 12 months,
they have a no stress policy.
There is not a single no stress-free policy in Ghana. What they have is post-stress support. Because when they were coming, the policy said that we know that when you get admission, because you struggle to be able to pay your first semester fee,
first year
fee, we pay for you, so that you don't go through stress. That's what brought the name no stress. Not a single child in Ghana has ever benefited from a no stress fee in 25 academic year or this academic year. What they have, not even one, what they have benefited from is that after they have gone through the stress to pay their fees, government says now apply, then I refund. Do you know a number of students who have dropped out even this academic year? Because the policy wasn't for you to come and support me after I have gone through the stress. You said no stress. Now you have left me to my fate. You made a promise to me and you are delivering something else. Put a ballot box at University of Ghana today and see how many votes you get.
I don't think you,
because people vote according to, and you see, that's why I keep talking about the NDC's delusion. Me have stopped debating them because they are delusional. You think that this child that you promised no stress fee, okay, that came to University of Ghana last year and struggled to pay his fees before he applied. Even those who applied, not all of them have received the refund. Go to University of Ghana. You think this child, and now he's in level 200 and he's paying more fees than he would have paid in 2024, and you go and tell the child that clap for me, I've done well, economy is doing well. Which part of his economy?
If I receive my refund, I'm good.
I'm telling you that you said it was no stress. How was he going to get the access? There are even some who dropped out. Last week there were people doing appeal for funds for Ghanaian students who have gained admission to the first year. When you promised them and their parents, for which reason they went to queue and voted for you, that they will not go through that. I know kids who, as we speak, couldn't go to university this year when the government in their manifesto said that we will pay your first year fees for you so you don't go through hassle. These are the realities. So this whole delusion about, we are doing what you are not doing anything. See, cocoa farmers, as we speak, for 6 months, you haven't been able to give money to license buying companies for them to pay cocoa farmers. How are these cocoa farmers going to have money in the first place for them to access the so-called economic gain? This government is delusional. And they think that you run a country by optics and facade. I've given you cocoa farmers. Should I give you more? The teachers and nurses who work for 12 months, as we speak, they receive 1 month salary. Those nurses and teachers that you went to their school brought your head out of the V8 and took a microphone and told them that I am bringing back the automated placement for you. They are still home. You said you can't recruit them. Go and put a ballot and tell them that your economy.
But that's not your economy.
It's not new.
You don't get it. If they knew that you were going to do the old phenomena, they would have informed their voting choices. You made a specific promise to them. It's not a new phenomenon.
So for you, it's the promise and the delivery.
But you think the Ghanaians are daft? But you should appreciate it. I can see that. You have your turn. No, it should be more than a minute. It's taking like 30 seconds. You think that these kids, they just go and vote like zombies? I'm a nurse. When I was in school, you came to promise me automated placement. I am out. You haven't done that for me, and you said that I will vote for you. And it's the confidence with which they say that. The confidence and arrogance with which they say, yeah, we are doing what? You are doing nothing. I almost said you are not doing. You are not doing anything this morning. No, but the kids are going to school. You are doing nothing. And then I am pained when I see the NDC, rub this on the faces of the Ghanaian people who are genuinely struggling. See, I am a taxi driver. You are telling me to reduce my fare or trotro because fuel has come down, but you forget that the trotro driver is a businessman. He's a businessman. He's looking at his cost in whole, and also look at how much he will be able to take home to take care of his home. So if you reduce fuel for me and you increase my utilities by 28% and 15%, and I come and I realize that if I reduce the trotro fare, I cannot pay my bills, what do you think I'll do?
Reduced fuel, I've reduced cost of spare parts.
Which spare parts? The Swami magazine, I think I saw the video on one of you. The guy is saying that no spare parts have come down. Only the government people say spare parts has come down. Only the government people.
The dealers.
Swami, I am just telling you that Swami magazine. I watched it. I'm not listening to a government official. I watched the video myself.
But the dealers themselves have come out.
I watched the video myself. You have the trade minister. You have the trade minister walking around saying that they have to introduce an app to compare prices. Why do you think she's doing that? If she thinks that genuinely prices of anything has come down in this country, why are we doing this? And this government thinks that oh, like the country was bequeathed to them, and so they tell you, you don't win. You will not win. If this government wants, they should go and put a ballot box on any market today and see whether they will win the elections. Or they should go and put a ballot box on any university campus.
Are you daring?
They should do it. You see the arrogance. The arrogance. You see, let me tell you something. A government doesn't have to necessarily fail before there is a change. Sometimes when people feel that you are not delivering on the promise, people went to queue. People traveled across this country with the belief that you will deliver specific promises to them. You haven't done it, and you think that you win an election because you think that you are NDC. See, go to those who care about Galamsey. You and your party officials, you are dissipating our river bodies in our forest areas, and you say you win an election.
You have evidence.
Were we not in this country when 3 of the national executives have been referred to the Attorney General? Have you heard any outcome? How long has it been? How long has it been? Go and check our water bodies. Go to Central Region. 14 districts do not have water because of Galamsey. The government itself is buying gold from the Galamseyers. The president himself admitted that 60%, yes, the president said that 60% of our gold that we have bought comes from small scale mining. Minerals Commission report, listen to me, I know what I'm saying. Minerals Commission report says that 90% of small scale miners are into illegal mining. What does that tell you? We are not dumb in this country. The Abuapa South MC told us on TV that it is his constituency chairman that is doing Galamsey in his district. For the first time in the history of this country, Galamsey is happening on student campus. Kwabi Secondary School, on the campus. Go to this STEM school, Abomosu STEM school, right behind the dining hall. Akokari College, Galamsey is happening there. All over the place. The NDC constituency chairman for Upper Densha East strangled the military men and told them to leave so that they allow him to do Galamsey. Listen, we and I can go on and on and on and on to prove to you that this government from day one till now have done nothing other than the artificial manipulation of our macroeconomic indicators to make you feel that you are doing well. Go home. Go and ask your family people how many of them have seen a change in their lives in the manner in which this government want to make everybody believe. It's not by NPP. To hell with NPP. They are out of office. Simply make the life that you promised the people a reality. You are not doing it, and you don't want anybody to put you in check.
Very well. Very well. Council, he's raised a number of issues, so I'll come to you for a response.
Very well. I mean, some of these issues he has raised are only administrative bottlenecks. I mean, you have this stress-free policy that was introduced. There's no way that you can start advancing money to people when they've not checked into the school. You gain admission. You submit. May I finish? You gain admission. You submit your processes, and then the process will commence. You don't expect that monies will be given out to students. I mean, there are persons who may even take money and not go to the school. You understand? Right. So there must be some administrative process that ensure that you have really registered, you are in school, and then you receive
there should be accountability.
Exactly. And so that stress that you go through to look for the money, you have now, it has been restored, and you are back to school and able to go. I mean, we'll have some challenges in every policy implementation, and this is fair. What we are seeing is rather an improved situation than what we have seen in the past. I mean, my brother here complains about the fact that people are struggling, they are not benefiting from the fuel reduction and all that. We have seen the price of food items drop. In Christmas, during the last December Christmas, we saw the price of oil, rice, and basic items come down. And as a matter of fact, several Ghanaians went out there buying stuff and claiming that yes, indeed, the prices have come down. When you move away from food and those items, come to fuel. I mean, you and I know that very significant component of every transport business is fuel.
True.
The taxi driver, truck driver may not be willing to reduce his price, perhaps because he's just taking advantage of the people at this stage. I mean, what we have seen now is even not an issue of the price reduction, but people are taking advantage of the peak times to charge more during peak times, and even reduce a journey that could be one-way journey into 3 or 4, and end up taking the money from the people. I mean, it's just something that we need to address, and address it very well. But significantly, you and I who buy fuel, who use our vehicles here and there, have seen the drop in the prices, and that drop in price is a saving to our pockets.
True.
That savings would eventually result into a better lifestyle for all of us. Now, come to think about even importation. The spare parts dealers who are importing have are enjoying stable exchange rates now. In the past, when they have to take about 17 Ghana cedis per dollar to be able to bring in spare parts, today they are spending between 10 to 12 dollars Ghana cedis per dollar to be able to bring spare parts, which means that they are able to reduce it. We've had leadership of the spare parts dealers coming out to say they've reduced prices and urging their members to comply with the new prices that they have. And so to tell me that some people in Swami are saying that there's no reduction in prices, it's a bit
you know, when we spoke to the GPRT about the reduction in spare parts prices, what they said is that the reduction is on spare parts that are not necessarily used by the GPRT drivers, because they use the 207, the Toyota Hiace, and those spare parts, the prices are still up.
You see, Ghanaians and all of us as we are, we always cleverly find ways to justify our actions. I mean, who goes to the market to find out what spare parts have particularly been reduced and which ones have not been reduced? Take your time.
Okay,
let's not destroy it. Already. So I mean, you have those things happening. It is. People always find clever ways to justify their actions. I mean, these things do happen. We just need to find ways to deal with them. But we have seen significant reduction. At least, if nothing at all, there's some stability in pricing. That gives us comfort. That gives you don't go to the market to buy something today at 10 cedis, the next day go into 11 cedis or 12 cedis and keeps going up. At least there's predictability, there is some certainty. It allows businessmen to be able to plan, it allows consumers to be able to have certainty in what they do, which is savings in your pocket. Great savings in your pocket. I mean, there are policies that would help to reduce the impacts as we go on. Let's see what happens in the next few months. Oh, but we fought Galamsey more than they've done. I mean, sometimes when I hear persons of the NPP speak about Galamsey and NDC's efforts in fighting Galamsey, I find it very strange. I mean, we had a president of the country at a point in time coming more or less to endorse Akonta mining.
Can you imagine? Fix it. It's gone.
No. Before you start calling out, you start making any moral comment, you may yourself have to put yourself.
No, forget that one. No, we will not do that. You will fix it. You will fix it.
We are fixing it.
What are you fixing?
We are starting to challenge.
You are even buying from them. You are engaging them.
Listen,
you are dealing with them.
You don't seem to appreciate. You don't seem to appreciate the process.
Because you've done nothing. Not even a single new policy. Ask him to tell you one new thing they've done, which was already in existence. Ask him. I'm very passionate about it.
If implementing the old policy is yielding results.
It's not. Is it?
The LI has been revoked.
Has it yielded results?
It is yielding results.
Which results?
We are seeing cleaner river bodies now than what we have.
What are you talking about?
We have had more arrests.
Are you in Ghana? Are you in Ghana? What are you doing?
To be fair, yesterday the lands minister complained about the Tebiti.
Are you in Ghana?
Of course, some of them. You will still have.
Are you in Ghana?
You will not have an overnight change in all the water bodies.
Over 5,000.
Don't do that to Galamsey. You are failing at Galamsey.
It is not true.
Please.
Apologies.
You have your way. Don't mind. You have your way.
They say they won't allow a certificate of agency again. That's what he's doing.
Don't mind. When they have come several times, certificate of agency to Parliament. So we have seen renewed efforts in fighting Galamsey. I mean, sometimes I find it difficult to appreciate why my friends will say that why are we continuing with certain policies? We all continue to preach continuity in governance. Governance should not abandon previous policies and projects and make sure that we continue so that we don't waste resources. I mean, we saw it under the administration where they abandoned housing projects, and we've seen how much the country has lost after that. Today, we are continuing some of their policies. Of course, there's nothing wrong with continuing projects. It is governance in continuity. We are fighting Galamsey, and we will surely fight Galamsey and succeed. I mean, we've had their regional chairman and other persons of the NPP fully engaged in Galamsey and are being dealt with in court as we speak today.
What are you
doing?
When you came, what are you doing?
We have formed a stronger task force.
What are you doing?
You've seen what has happened.
Diamos was there before you came to office.
What are you talking about?
Before you came to office. Is that what he promised the people?
It's been intensified.
Pick your manifesto and list what you say you do and tell us what you have done with
revocation of the LI.
Has it given you the results? Didn't we tell you that revocation of LI is not a panacea to?
It is part of the. It is not. It's part of.
How is it?
Because if it is, let me tell you why. tell you why it is. Let me tell you why it is. If there's a lawful mandate that allow people to mine in forest reserve, they will justify it because it is legal. But today, the legal basis upon which they go into the forest reserve to mine has been taken out. That is
it has not. It's misinformation.
If you look at LI, wait, I am sorry, but I have to help. Wait,
go and pick the Mining Act. That is why Felix himself said that the revocation of the LI does not necessarily stop anybody from mining in the forest reserve, because go and pick the act. The act itself needs to be amended. You see, it is very important that the education is crucial. I am telling you today that there is still a law that allows for mining
in forest.
Yes, it's in the act.
But there's something you need to understand. The LIs provide more enabling framework for granting licenses within the forest area.
So there's a reform in the licensing regime.
Exactly. So if you have a situation where the LI that gives birth to that is revoked, that is a strong basis.
The act is what gives birth to the LI.
Exactly, but you need to wait. You don't.
So there should be an amendment of the act.
I'm saying that if the principle is to bar. No, I'm only saying it based on the argument you made. Without the argument, we'll not be talking about this. The impression is being created that once that LI has been repealed, there is no room for mining in our forest reserves. And I'm saying that is not correct. Because there is a law
still permitted. Yes. But the promise was to do what? To revoke the LI.
So you see, the
bigger promise is to fight Galamsey.
Right.
And revoking the LI gives one of the strong basis to fight Galamsey. Now, the law that enables the Minerals Commission to grant license in forest reserves is the LI. Once you revoke it, but the LI in itself will not be a solution. Other factors will come in.
Sure.
Of course, you even where the LI was there were people conducting themselves unlawfully, and so you revoke the LI and undertake other actions, and that's what we have seen. We've seen NIMOS going out after illegal miners. We've seen prosecutions going on. We've seen seizures of excavators, seizures of mining equipment. We have seen renewed effort in fighting Galamsey and a stronger commitment in fighting Galamsey than we saw in the past.
Right.
It is sometimes unfair to find persons within the NPP now today having the moral right now to be claiming that they fought it better and they are calling on us. We have
never said that.
We have started the challenge that we will do it.
And we are only asking them to fix it.
We are saying that you are not fixing. You are doing Galamsey. We are making a direct allegation. Yes, direct. Yes. But you know what I know about Galamsey. See, I can mention the names of the NDC people who are doing Galamsey on the Ayesu River, on Ayesu Ano. I know that. See, then let's mention the names.
It's easier to throw out names and make allegations.
Are you not making allegations the NPP and Nana Gufaya this year?
Are you not making allegations? We're not in this country.
Are you not making allegations? Is it not easy to throw? Is it not easy to throw allegations? I'm making reference to convicted for that.
We're making
someone is in court over that.
But isn't somebody being investigated in your party?
Yes. We've told you persons are being investigated.
So you see, I'm bringing you back to the fact that you misled this country, you lied to the country, only to come and dabble in the illegality. Your government and your party.
Let me take a few quick messages. This one says, good morning, Anna. We, the super majority delegates of the NPP, will for sure vote massively for Dr. Bawumia. Another one here says, Nana, good morning. Tell Dennis to stop worrying himself. Mahama has a history of not posting and paying nurses and teachers. I'm still home waiting for the automatic postings. Good morning, everyone. Tell the NDC man we the Ghanaian youth are waiting for the 133 jobs. That's Christian from Sandema. Good morning to you all, especially lawyer Lamteg. To begin with, there's a saying that when a carpenter has a hammer as the only tool, he sees every problem as a nail. Can Dennis kindly tell us about what they did to solve all the problems he mentioned above during NPP regime? If 8 years couldn't solve even one of those single problems, how do you expect the problems to be solved within 1 year, knowing well they have their inherited problems? He says you should exercise patience. NDC have come to solve our problems.
They are buying the road. How are they solving? They are the one doing the Galamsey. They are the criminals doing the Galamsey. I'm telling you, that for the first time, the black voter is seeing Galamsey.
He has a problem.
Now Galamsey, they will come if you bring it up. Black voter, do you know the black voter?
Yes.
They are doing Galamsey in the black voter.
Hold on. He has a problem.
He
has a problem for
they are doing Galamsey.
You can only tell a blind man that there's no oil in the soup, but not salt, because he has a tongue to taste it.
That is how I know that they are doing Galamsey. I can see it.
Ghanaians have seen the difference already. I wish their impending presidential election all the best of luck, but on that day they should consider Ghana first before personality. This is from Yenab Zong. Good morning, Nana. NDC behaves like students who take responsibility for getting a grade A, but deny being responsible for getting an F. Inshallah, come 31st January 2026, Dr. Baumia will be the flag bearer of the great new Patriotic Party. That's Abu Safiano. He calls himself Bangba Jr. from Damongo. All right, let's move to the courts. The courts now. Pandai will be in court today. The Supreme Court will rule on the appeal case today. This issue of Pandai and the back and forth, by close of day, we'll know what the decision of the court is. But the positioning that we've seen over the period, how we've reacted to the High Court ruling and all. Counsel, I mean, you can help us with some legal education on this. How should we position ourselves to receive the Supreme Court ruling?
Oh, well, it depends on where you stand. I mean, if you are the appellant who is in court, like the sitting MP, you would believe in your cause, you believe in your case, that's why you are in court, and you believe that you have advanced your cause. Of course, the respondent, the original person who petitioned, also believes in his case and will put out the best. I mean, it is for the court to make a fair and justifiable determination based on the merit of each party's case. As lawyers, we are mindful not to make certain comments about pending cases in court because of the likelihood of being contemptuous of the court. Yeah. And so I would be careful not to go off tangent. But of course, I belong to the NDC. I am part of the legal fraternity, and so I know what our team has put in. And I believe strongly in the outcome of the efforts that we have put in, and hoping that that effort will definitely reflect on the expectations that we have. We of the NDC strongly believe that we have a strong case. We have put out our strong argument and justified that with legal backing, and looking at what the petitioners, the appellant has brought to the court, we are likely to see an outcome that would benefit us. But nonetheless, every court case can go anyway, and so equally so we have to prepare. But it's easier for us to accept negative outcome because we are already the ones who are not in parliament. The gentleman who was elected or has been in parliament and has been asked to go out of parliament would rather be the one more disappointed because he knows that he's carried himself out as a member of parliament, has his plans and be carrying out himself, doing what he wants to do. But today, if he's asked to pack out and go for a runoff, I mean, he would have a stronger difficulty. But nonetheless, we know the outcome would be in our interest, not because we have any basis, but because we know we've put out a good case, and hoping that the case will reflect, the outcome will reflect in our expectations.
There's an oversimplified argument that you have more than enough numbers in parliament. Why won't you let this one go?
I think it's not a question of the numbers in parliament. It's a question of the will of the people. If it is the will of the people of Pandai that they voted for Party A, and Party B use some unlawful means to find himself in parliament, then the law must take its course. Right. So it doesn't matter that we may even have 200 seats in parliament, but every single seat is important. And of course, as Christ himself said, the shepherd who will leave his 9 and go out for that one is a person who cares. I mean, we care about every seat. We don't just want a majority in parliament, but we want to make sure that the will of the people is respected, and that's what's supposed to be.
Very well. Dennis, today Pandai is in court. You are convinced. I mean, we've heard statements from the NPP side, from the minority side, that indeed there's a strong case, and the expectation is that the outcome will be in your favor. But also, if we listen to the leadership of the minority and how they describe the current leadership of the judiciary, I'm not sure where we stand on this and what our expectations are.
Well, I have 3 categories of people I personally don't criticize. The police, even if they are doing very ill things, I try to maintain composure, because no matter what you do, there will be a day where you will need them. At least you need them to show up with their black uniform. So I always just call on them to do what is right. The second category are pastors and prophets, because you remember Apreku, when he said, when God was calling him, he said, Apreku, my daughter. I wasn't there. Whether he was lying or he wasn't, he heard God. And then the third one are the judiciary. I leave them to their conscience. No matter what you do, ultimately there will be a day where you will no longer be in the seat. And when you are home, you would have to account to your actions and inactions and battle with your conscience. I found the Pandai High Court ruling very strange, because there is a Supreme Court precedence when it comes to litigations on elections, that every polling station has a pink sheet, and the pink sheet on itself, on the face of it, is a legal tender.
True.
So if I have 100 polling stations and DG comes to court with 20 polling stations that he's contending, you look at the 20 polling stations. You don't say that because I have identified problems with the 20 polling stations, or the 100 we should go and run again. It's a very strange ruling, and it's a very bad precedent. And I'm hoping that this morning or today the Supreme Court would fix that. Because, listen, in your quest to say that the will of the people, so some people, they have issues, that is legitimate once you identify it on this particular police station. But how about my police station where there was no issue, that I probably traveled from Tema to come and vote, and I may not be able to come back on the by-elections because of several things, the queues, the stress. So I found it very, very strange that a judge actually had a petition of a certain number of polling stations, 40 or 41, a certain number of polling stations, and decided that even though it is just these 41 polling stations I am looking at, I am going to add all the rest that the applicant didn't even bring to court. The
magnitude of error on
41. That is all. It doesn't matter what
guarantees.
If I haven't brought DG to court that he has done something to me, why do you assume that because I brought Nana and Nana has done something and Nana is a friend to DG, DG is also a criminal? Because I brought Nana to court and you found Nana guilty, and you've seen Nana and DG working, DG is also a criminal.
Aiding and abetting.
That is
accomplice.
If you find aiding and abetting in that particular case, then he's guilty. And I know the judge knows that it was a very strange ruling. He knew that he was a very you could go, why we've severally had to go back and have re-elect or re-voting in particular polling stations. We've done it before.
Done recounting.
We've done recounting. We've done it before. You understand? But this whole strange scenario of having to go and vote all over again in every other polling station, I think that the Supreme Court should fix it for the country.
But the results of the 41 have affected the outcome of the entire.
So vote on the 41. Vote on the 41. Vote, no matter what it is. Listen, the 42nd polling station is not in court.
Yeah, it ends with the 41.
The 42nd polling station is not in court. It is now up to you to tell the applicant to go and bring the others. He brought what he knew were problematic. If he had any evidence against the others, he would have brought them. So which evidence did you use to nullify the 42nd one? You see what I'm saying? So I'm quite, that's why I'm very confident that the Supreme Court will fix it. Because you see, I have always insisted, Anna, that when you are in public service, don't be happy when you see an obvious wrong which is being institutionalized. Because in Ghana, I know conventions are very strong, extremely strong, sometimes stronger than even the law.
Right.
How they say, if this is allowed, it will not be only NPP that is going to suffer it, even NDC. Because tomorrow DG is running for MP somewhere. There are 200 police stations. I know that if I disrupt 5 of them and I make sure that the 5 of them have concrete evidence, they will nullify the rest. I machine it. And then eventually I go to court and I cite a previous ruling that on the face of all this strong evidence you found, it is possible that the other 190 are also problematic. So let's cancel that as well. And the judge will rule, because once the judge has a precedence, he can rule with that. It's a very funny ruling. I think the Supreme Court should do what is right today.
Council, I'll come to you for some legal education, especially regarding the timelines of filing the application at the High Court and all, because it looks like that is what is being challenged as a result of that. I'll come to you on that, but let me take a quick break at this point. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. Stay with us, so we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the news review segment here on Breakfast Daily, live on Channel One Television. We're having a conversation regarding the Pandai seat. Today, the Supreme Court will rule on the appeal case filed by Matthew Nyindam. Now, the lawyer for Matthew Nyindam, that's Gary Numako, contends that if like the High Court case was filed 32 days, and this is 32 days after the results were gazetted, and this is way beyond the 21 days mandatory period as stipulated in the Constitution. So it looks like that is where the contention is. So if you can give us some legal education on
well,
that.
I can make, and that's the contest in the Supreme Court, so I must be careful with the things I say, but I can make some factual comment as far as what has transpired in the past is concerned. I mean, if you recall, there were two petitions. There was the first petition that was filed, and that petition was filed, as a matter of fact, before the gazetting. And immediately the respondent, the sitting MP's legal team, raised a legal objection in respect of that, and it was withdrawn. Immediately the gazetting was done, I think January 6th or thereabout. Then a new petition was filed. So it was based on the new petition that the judgment has been given. And now the contest in the Supreme Court is that the petition was filed 32 days after the gazette.
That's the January 25th.
Definitely. But that is a bit misleading. But I'm careful not to say anything because it's a matter that is the court will decide. So let's leave that one for the court to decide. But my brother Miracle mentioned certain things and was calling out for the Supreme Court to fix it. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court cannot fix that one. What he's calling for is that there was a challenge in respect of 41 or so polling stations, and that the court decision to have the entire constituency rerun is quite unfortunate, and that the Supreme Court should fix it. The Supreme Court does not have an appeal before it in respect of that particular judgment. What is before the Supreme Court is a question of procedural irregularity that has been put across by the legal team of the sitting MP. Claiming that the petitioner did not comply with the law, and so on that basis the entire judgment should be quashed. The Supreme Court will not go into the merit of the judgment to make pronouncement as to whether or not 41 or so polling stations were put before it, and that it was wrong for the court to make those decisions. No, every court has a jurisdiction, every court has its limits. The court deals with matters that is before it. What went before the High Court is what the High Court has determined. If the, and I know that an appeal was filed, because we saw first of all the notice of appeal. The notice of appeal was filed on the day of the judgment. Which tells us that they may have some feeling that they will not be victorious in the matter, so they decide to go on to file their notice of appeal. And so it is that appeal that may go into the merit of the matter and make some determination if with the argument my brother is putting across is anything to go by.
But when I listen to you and what you are saying that on the matter of jurisdiction and what is brought before the court, then what Dennis is saying holds water, because it was 41 constituencies that were presented before the judge.
That is the claim by the petitioner. But I was trying to find out for you that the respondent also had a counter claim. There were some complaints about some irregularities in other polling stations
outside of these
41. So the court had to now examine the entire claim by the two parties and make a fair determination. You see, whilst the petitioner was complaining of 41, the respondent also had complaints about some irregularities in other polling stations. Don't forget that the two parties know their strongholds. And so it was on the generality of the entire evidence put before the court that the court came to the conclusion that with this level of irregularity across the entire constituency, it would be proper to have the entire elections rerun to justify who is the appropriate person to be the member of parliament for Pandai. And so sometimes we should be mindful the way we attack judgments without paying attention to the details of the judgment and what the parties put before the court. If we have the benefit of that information, we would know that the judge did not go on a frolic of his own to make determinations in matters that is not within its domain. And it is also the level of irregularity, how wide it was, for a judge to come to a conclusion that let's have a rerun. But it's okay to disagree if you want to disagree. It's okay to disagree, and it is fair. It is absolutely right. And that is, in fact, what is why lawyers go on appeal. Every time a lawyer goes on appeal on a matter, it means he disagrees with the judgment. But the words we use are dissatisfied with the judgment, and so he's seeking a review, a second look into the matter, where he would point out certain errors, certain legal errors, certain evidential errors, and the court, if the court is minded to go by the argument of the appellant, the court will uphold the appeal. I have no problem if the appellant thinks that he has a genuine case to go on appeal. But the Supreme Court would not be dealing with such matters. The Supreme Court will be dealing with the procedural matters, whether or not you complied with the 21-day rule or otherwise.
Dennis, I have a problem with if like the absence of consequences for people's actions or inactions, and this time I'm pointing to the EC. The EC has a huge budget funded by the taxpayers' money, and this matter before the Supreme Court has to do with dates of publication of the gazettes. The EC has admitted more than one date of publication, and yet there will be no consequences because the Supreme Court will not saddle itself with a matter of the EC's actions or inactions. It's going to deal with the substantive issue before the procedural issue regarding the gazette, the dates of the gazette, and whether the 21-day rule was respected.
Me, in addition to this very valid point you've made, my concern still remains that we need to have absolute clarity going into 2028 elections, else there will be chaos. And I can draw on several instances of happenings during the 2024 elections. You see, people are picking cues as to what they can do and what they cannot do on election day. And like you rightly said, they know that once they succeed at it, there will be no consequences. And they can run with it. And that is a problem. Because now, if an electoral commission officer in a district knows that all I need to do to aid council is to take the ballot box from areas where he's weak and go and count it. Is it areas where he's weak? Yes. And go and count it at an unapproved place, and that a judge, the court will quash it, and there will be no consequences on me. That's what I would do to help you. You see, election stealing is evolving. It's no longer just about picking the ballot box, paper and putting it. No. There's so many ways. So now you are right. If the electoral commission officer knows that, to help you, areas where I know that your opponent will win, I will put in place inefficiencies so that it will be basis to nullify. Then you will have your way. We are in trouble. We saw what happened in several. In fact, in 2024, we had to end up counting some police stations and some constituencies at the Tesano police station. We saw what happened at Blakuma North. The only reason why we went back to Blakuma North by election was simply because some people knew that if they succeed in destroying the ballot boxes and destroying the ballot papers, there will be a rerun. So people are learning from that. So for me, my advocacy to the EC is put in place mechanisms for all parties to suffer consequences. See, 2024, do you know one of the things that the NDC did? In other places where the ballot box was in transit, from the polling station to the constituency coalition center, that's where they accosted the EC officials and destroyed ballot boxes. In places like Kinsawum, the videos are still there. When they realized that the county was not going in their favor, they ran into the place and tore the ballot boxes. Today, I know that if I manage to snatch the NDC's pink sheet and destroy it, and I keep mine and I say I don't have it, the likelihood is that we will not be able to have a result is very high. So what do? When the election is done and we are done counting, I put my men on him and I keep my eye on him and I snatch it and I destroy it. When the EC gets to the coalition center, we rush to the EC and destroy it. We need to begin to improve our processes. I'm telling you, if we don't do that, we are heading to chaos. Cast your mind to what happened in 2024 and tell me that if we get even just a double of that, this country will be able to survive. You just cast your mind. We saw macho men hitting their hands on tables and forcing electoral commission officers to make declarations. There's a problem. Why are all these people? These people are on video and they are working. Whether NPP, NDC, I don't care. That's not my interest. But these individuals, whether NDC or NPP, are working freely. Why are they not on TV screens with their jail terms so that people will see? So nobody should be happy about what is going on. Nobody should be happy about what is going on. What is going on is a danger, not just to our democracy, but to all of us. See what happened between 7th and 9th December. But for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who decided that, listen, we have collated our results. We have clearly seen where we are. There is no point allowing these things to happen. So let me go and calm tempers. And came to consider the time he considered. Do you think there will be peace in other places? No.
Well, why would there not be peace?
Because they were fighting even in the morning. Some people thought that I have to fight because my party is winning. Because in his constituency, there has been people who have ransacked the coalition center and destroying ballot boxes. If he knows that at this point, whether they destroy it or not, I have already lost based on what is happening at the center, they would at least, pull the brakes.
But some to argue on the contrary, that he conceding early gave room for some persons to do what they did.
No. But by the time, you see, look at the time he considered. At the time he considered, check how many constituencies have even not been declared yet. Don't forget that we have our coalition center and we got our results way ahead of the morning. The morning when I received the call from the flag bearer that we need to set up the media, the results, what was left cannot influence the outcome of the results. Look at the result, 1.7 million.
But that was the presidential level, not
the parliamentary. The ones that were left were few. And those were the ones that were even brought to Tesano. You understand? The lives were, it wasn't worth the lives that we could lose. Look at Ablekuma. They basically almost even bent the school. Go and look at the videos from Nsawum. Go and look at the videos from Tema Central. Go and look at the videos from Patriotic Party's constituency. I am saying that these things are happening because the EC and the party operatives have come to realize that as for elections, the consequences be anywhere. I had to say, when we were in school, student demo, when you're moving a mass like that, you don't see anything until you are pegged out. Once you alone, you are pegged, you realize that there are consequences. So I really think that we need to agree. Listen, the country where we are now, Ghana, where we have arrived now, you don't have to become a president with violence under no circumstance. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. And if we don't find a way to go back and play back those videos and see the EC have a CI that would explicitly deal with these things and have the security services and the judiciary, everybody come on board, parliament, to make sure that there are drastic consequences for election disruptions. Trust me, I'm telling you that 2028, even the NDC, maybe they will run away. I'm telling you that they may even run away because there are 40,000 polling stations. 40,000 polling stations. You cannot have a handle over all of them at the same time in the same way that you can do everywhere. And so you need a system where people know that disrupting elections is not beneficial. Then they will be able to, maintain their composure and do the right thing. But right now, where we are, I'm sorry, but I don't see that. I don't see that.
But it's actually unlawful for anyone to disrupt elections.
Consequences.
And there are consequences.
No, but we haven't seen any.
No, it's because we haven't seen prosecution.
But also, that's the point I'm making.
Because
that's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that I agree with you. I am with you completely. I'm saying that.
Yes.
With what we have in 2024, on video.
Yes.
On video.
Yes.
Okay, on video.
Yes.
NPP, NDC, whatever it is. Let's see them punished.
Exactly.
See, what happened to me in Ablekuma North? What happened to me in Ablekuma North? What happened to Hawa Kumsen in Ablekuma North? They were all on TV. We know them. We know them. We have their pictures. What happened?
They've been fined.
Have you filed a complaint?
1,000 Ghana, 2,000 Ghana cedis. So let me go and find 1 million Ghana cedis and put it down and give to my boys so that they will do what they did in Ablekuma North. When they are fined, we will pay.
Very well. I think the call you made, which is very important, is that should EC officials be held accountable?
Exactly.
And should there be a process that would, so it will serve as a
Not just the EC official, EC official and
Political actors.
Yes, political actors.
Political actors. I said it's against the law.
It's a crime.
Oh, but the EC official too is against the law.
No. Wait. Take your time. It's not against the law. Where there are irregularities, there's no law that puts any punishment or penalty on the EC official. There are no sanctions. I mean, there may be administrative sanctions for having poorly conducted your work. Well, maybe some promotion that will not come, or some administrative sanctions that are not biting.
That's a consequence. That's not the same as a 1,000 Ghana cedi fine.
It's not the same. I said they may, but they may not be. So far, we have not even seen any EC official having been demoted or having been punished for supervising an election where there's been massive irregularity as a result of the conduct of his officers who are under him. Do you understand? We haven't seen anything like that. And so that call you make is very important. And I think it is about time we start looking at it that, listen, EC officials owe the country a duty to discharge their responsibilities according to the law and do it to the best of their abilities. Where it is found out that it is your misconduct, it is your actions that or inactions that have caused the country so much resources to go back into an election.
Exactly.
The tension, the money we are spending, the security. I mean, the cost of an election is not just the ballot papers that we print and the rest. The cost of bringing in all the police officers. I mean, imagine the police officers who are going to be sent to Pandai again and everything. And so someone needs to be punished. I agree. I think that will serve as a strong deterrent to any other EC official who is conducting an election. Listen, if I conduct myself in a manner that would lead to any problem in the future, I will be held accountable. And I will lose my job, not just my job, I could also suffer severe consequences. I think that would get people sitting.
Well, a few messages here. Ask Miracles how they fought Galamsey and what were the results. Some people still think Ghanaians are living in the early 2000s, so they keep playing the same political tricks as if nothing has changed. This one from Mystic Wonder Avuko inside in Swam at Duajui says, almost all the NPP presidential aspirants have credibility issues. We know their track record, so we in the NDC are ready for them. These were people who mismanaged the economy miserably, put Ghana in a jungle economic status, and failed Ghanaians disastrously. My regards to Chairman Dr. Mark Oliver Kevo. Okay. It's refreshing to know that the ordinary Ghanaian delegate of today has moved beyond the shackles of monetization, where delegates sell their conscience through stipends. The NPP party at this juncture needs visionary leaders who prioritize the youth and future of this country and not just braggadocious who hardly walk their talk. I pray delegates consider Dr. Brian a champion for this Herculean task, and surely he will outperform. Jomo Pokrasi Festus sent that one in. All right. We have this problem that I find very, very worrying. It's this our appetite to encroach on every land we see across the country, whether it's a Ramsar site, whether it's a waterway, whether it is a designated spot to ensure that nature has its way. I don't know, but quite recently we've seen the Greater Accra Regional Minister move the Regional Security Council together with NADMO and the National Security to do some demolition exercises, which I think is very commendable, because we will sit here, we actually have given it a name now, we call it perennial flooding, which is self-inflicted. So I don't know what you think, and to what extent should we go? And for people of influence, because in times past we've seen people of influence actually challenge the status quo because their structures or their property were destroyed. So what are your thoughts on this particular exercise?
I first of all want to commend the NADMO and the officials who have embarked on this demolition exercise. I mean, we need to save lives and other properties.
Indeed.
And we need to also enforce the laws as we have them. It's quite unfortunate that we have deteriorated to this point where people think that they have political influence or they have money and they can do what they want. I mean, you are building on a Ramsar site. That is where all the water is collected and it goes down into the ocean. And you forget that upstream are your neighbors, your friends, your own businesses, and the rest that get destroyed simply because of your actions downstream. We cannot you see, nature has its own laws and does not respect what you do. You have to respect nature's law.
Exactly.
And that is why in most development we have certain areas that you don't touch. I mean, for instance, the Achimota forest is a strong sponge that holds most of the water that comes all the way from the Kwapim Hills downstream before it runs down into Alajo and other places of Accra. In the moment we start destroying some of these places, we are opening ourselves up to great disaster, particularly in Accra. I mean, our development is a bit ahead of the assemblies. You find people building before the assemblies come to say stop work, produce permits,
because
and
we are
then you
developing without
penalty.
planning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good call. But what I'm quite disappointed in is the fact that we waited for all this while. I mean, we have expected these things to happen when immediately we saw the development starting. From the very beginning, we move into action. I mean, it's quite disappointing to see the resources that people have really put in there that have been pulled down. But we need to save lives. We rather should lose those resources and save the lives of the majority of Ghanaians than to allow these things to continue. And this also sends a warning to others who intend to undertake similar projects in places that are reserved for nature's purpose. That listen, if you do it today and get away with it, one day it will be pulled down. Let's respect the law. Let's continue with these enforcement processes. Let's not be any selective situation where we think that some people are more influential than others and they can have their way. I mean, it's about time we do this and do it strongly. It will come with some criticisms. It will come with, of course, people will threaten even the party that next time you won't vote for you and all that. But indeed, majority of Ghanaians are seeing that you are enforcing the law, you are being fair. We rather will welcome it and throw the support to the government than to think that, in the fear of losing an election or the fear of losing votes, you will allow certain things to go on. We have a country to protect, we have an environment to protect. Let's do it for the benefit of everybody. When the floods hit, it will not select between NDC homes and NPP homes. It goes into every home and everyone can be affected, and the devastating effect of it, lives, properties are all destroyed. And so I think it's a good thing they're doing. I encourage them to go ahead and do what they have to do. And let's expect that the next rainy season we are having in Accra will not see so much flooding and negative effect.
Well, Dennis, you have been a DCE before. Is it a failure on our part when we see these like slum communities or developments spring up? We don't do anything about it. We allow it to grow into our community. Then politicians, and I mean politicians, begin to find political currency in it.
But you know my position on this. I've said it here severally. Ghana, the day we properly decentralize, a lot of our development issues will go away. Everything, including economic development. I have always said it. It is we, the politicians, our fear of letting go control at the local level that is making us face this. I think about it. Why is the regional minister who has no jurisdiction? You know, the regional minister has no jurisdiction. Okay, the one in a particular municipality and breaking houses.
That's a ladder.
Yes, but it happens all across the country. So I'm not even picking on the
Greater Accra regional.
In our country. Why do we always have cameras on our regional ministers who are breaking down houses? What happens to the special planning committee? There is a special planning committee which the chairman is a municipal chief executive.
Right.
That special planning committee's job is to ensure that there are no constructions without permits.
True.
They provide permits, and their job is to ensure that the permitting process ensures that you don't build in wrong places. Within the special planning committee, there's another committee that they call the technical committee, which is headed by the district engineer. Now the technical committee is made up of the district development planning officer, or what we call the fiscal planning development officer, the district planning officer. But there's a difference between the physical planning and the planning. The engineer, which is the works engineer, the roads engineers are also there, fire service, NADMO, EPA, they are all on this technical committee. Their job is that before a house or a building is put up, they would come and inspect and make sure that where you are putting the building, one, is appropriate, and two, even the type of building you are going to put up in the particular space fits in there. There are some soils that do not support construction of story buildings. So they do what we call soil test.
Right.
There are some places fire service will tell you that this area, if you put up this kind of building and there is fire, we cannot come. They are on that committee. The other most important responsibility of that committee is that they move around the district to look at all poorly, how do you call it, unpermitted constructions, which includes building in waterways. Why are they not doing it? That is what we should deal with. You see, if the central governments, and I'm saying this because I don't want it to be NDC and NPP, that's why I've added S. If central governments do not go and tackle the core problem, what that means, how many days can you be in the area? How many times? Even the district where they work there, they couldn't identify the building. When you come and do show 3 days, you are gone. We need to make sure that these local governments actually do their work, and this includes providing them with the resources. It is expensive to run the special planning committee. It's very expensive because to be very efficient in an area like Ladade Kotupon, they will need about 4 dedicated vans or pickup trucks, all of them filled with teams, moving every day. That's the only way. Because you see, if you come here today and don't come back again in 3 months, somebody will build and finish. Trust me. If you come here today and you go and you don't come back in 3 months, somebody will finish. They build day and night. Within these days, within 4 weeks, you have a whole story building at the roof level. And we have a situation where we have basically stakeholder our local governments. We are afraid. Even their money, we are not giving to them. And we have a situation where we feel that the local governments cannot take care of themselves and that they cannot run their own business. Meanwhile, these DCs, the next week, they are appointed as ministers in Accra, and all of a sudden they are sensible. But once they are there at the district level, the minister in Accra thinks that because he is minister, he knows far more than the local people. That is our problem. The pretense in decentralization is the reason why we have transport crisis, which is a pure local government service.
Indeed.
Is the reason why we have spatial planning problems, which is a pure local government service. Basic education is suffering because we are pretending.
Health.
Sanitation is suffering because we are pretending. Health. Why are we doing this? Every country that properly decentralizes these key things develop. Listen, as a president, you have no business with basic education. No. That's not your business. The business of basic education is for the local authorities. As a government, your business is with 37 and Kolobu. You have no business with the chief's compound or a clinic. That's not your job. That is the business of the local government.
Very well.
I wait for the day where we will have partisan elections of MMDCs in Ghana. All these things will stop.
It will not lead to a good outcome.
All these things will stop.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll have to leave it here. Our time is up. It's been a great conversation. Thank you also for sending in your comments. I have a few quick ones to read. Good morning. I like the way Dennis is pontificating about election violence this morning. Unfortunately, we didn't see this post share of his after the 2020 election. He says anyway, the research agenda is holistic. That's something in Nabdam. Please, good morning. I'm Jacob. Please tell the NPP man that there's no victory for the NPP forever because they were arrogant and paid no attention to our needs.
Just get the job done.
It is commendable how the demolition exercise is being carried. I would suggest that those public officers who grant permits for the construction of these illegal structures should be prosecuted or fired from their positions. And also something in Namdam. Thank you so much for your comments and contributions. Thank you for staying with us. Please don't go away. The show continues after this.